D is a horror puzzle FMV game developed by Warped and debuting on the 3DO console in 1995. The game was a hit in Japan, but failed to make a big splash in other territories. Over the past 20 years, however, it has developed a bit of a cult following, so let's dive in. The opening cutscenes lay down the groundwork for the story. A man named Richter Harris has taken up hostages at a local hospital. His daughter Laura hears the news and rushes to the scene. From here, the title screen sets the tone for the game itself. All you can do is press start. There is no continue, no options, nothing. Pressing start, of course, begins the game. For unknown reasons, the police let Laura enter the hospital to negotiate with her father. When Laura enters, it is clear this is not a hostage situation, but rather a massacre. She is then warped into a castle with all signs of the aforementioned hospital completely gone. From here, Laura can finally walk around, but the game doesn't give any hints as to what you should do. D is almost entirely full motion video as well, so you don't have full control over Laura. Instead, you can press a button and then watch a video of movement. Normally, I do not like this style of gameplay, but the slow pace and restricted movement gives a sense of helplessness, enhancing the horror themes. The first floor of the castle is also logically laid out. As there are just a handful of rooms, you are not going to get lost. With the limited clutter, it's tough to miss out on the key areas of each room to explore. This leads us to the main gameplay element of D, solving puzzles. In a drawer, you'll find a piece of paper. This is added to your inventory, and now you have to figure out what to do with it. Turns out you need to put it into the bowl of water on the table. Pressing either shoulder button brings up your inventory, and if you are in the right spot and have the correct item, you can use the item. This magic water reveals a hidden message on the parchment. The Roman numerals match the numbers found on the previously explored drawers. Following the instructions on the hidden message will yield the next item. For the most part, this is how the entirety of D works. You are constantly using one item to gain another, while also solving puzzles to unlock new areas of the castle. The puzzles themselves can be rather cryptic, and this game is probably best played with a guide. Putting paper in a bowl of water is not obvious, and I suspect many gamers in 1995 gave up on D before completion. Another puzzle requires knowledge of astrology, which again is something I would not have figured out in 95. Other puzzles are just clumsy. This safe has a simple 2-number combination. The first digit is easy enough to stop on a 7 as the momentum is predictable. Landing the second digit on an 8 is an exercise of frustration, as after it stops spinning, it jumps backwards randomly 6 to 8 times. After making your way through the first level of the castle, you move to the middle section of the game. A boulder chases Laura down a staircase, and when she reaches the bottom, it effectively blocks her path, forcing you forward with no hope to exit the castle and abandon your father. Here, another issue with the movement presents itself. You can't reach every object from every location. For example, you have to backtrack a bit before you can finally reach this desk. If you are playing this game for the first time, you might miss out on a few key locations simply because you couldn't reach them. I understand there is a limited amount of space on a CD, and not every combination of movement is possible, but it can feel a bit sloppy at times. After making your way through the middle section of D, you're prompted to enter the second disc, and the final act of the game begins. The main gimmick here is this handle. Each time you crank the handle, you need to turn around and open this door to see where you are, as you are actually spinning the center of a tower. There are 12 different landing spots, with 4 of them leading to a location and 8 of them leading to a dead end. Additionally, the 4 locations have to be played in a specific order. Again, collecting an item in one location is the key to another location, and if you visit them in the wrong order, you won't have the appropriate tools to progress. Combine this with the fact there are 12 different landing spots, and you might find yourself running out of time or patience rather quickly. You see, D is non-traditional in nearly every way. There are no save points, for example, and you have to play the game in its entirety every single time. Additionally, there's a 2-hour limit. If you fail to reach the conclusion in 2 hours, you receive a bad ending. This convoluted tower section can be confusing, and if you fail to wrap your head around it, you'll have to start the game completely over. If you manage to solve the 4 different areas in this final act, you arrive at the game's conclusion. After a rather clever puzzle involving a few levers and a pair of gears, you finally find your father. The closing scene is completely unexpected, and I totally didn't see it coming. Following the epic reveal, you are transported back to the hospital where everything started and the credits roll. Unlike many FMV games, Warped did manage to build in some replay value. After the credits, you'll see 4 amulets. When you find these during the game, you'll be treated to a violent flashback video, and you'll see them glowing on this final screen. If you don't find all 4, you'll receive a message there's more to see and to play again. It's a clever way to get you to revisit the game. Beating D 3 times, I was only able to find 2 of the amulets, and on my 3rd playthrough, they randomly did not appear. Finally, the game features 4 different endings. Failing to complete the game in 2 hours yields the first ending. There is a choice at the end of the game leading to another pair of endings. And finally, there is a 4th ending if you collect all 4 amulets. Graphically, D is a curious title. There wasn't a big budget here, so the pre-rendered graphics look basic. Additionally, the FMV looks as though it was ripped from a VHS tape and de-interlaced poorly with all sorts of strange artifacts and video degradation. However, the gritty feel adds to the game's atmosphere. If it simply looked like squeaky clean, cheaply done CGI, the graphics would not look as appealing. On the flip side, the audio is strong. Again, as there was seemingly little budget, there is not much in the way of voice acting. Laura herself never says anything, and the only voice we ever hear is Richter's disembodied head. Instead, most of the story is delivered through music. There are plenty of silent moments followed by jump scares with loud music. Finding an item or using an item is usually followed by some orchestrated piece capturing the mood. Like the video, the quality isn't the best, but fits the overall aesthetic of the adventure. So, is D any good? If I were to base it purely on the limited gameplay and inconsistent puzzles, I would have to say no. D is not what I would call fun. On the other hand, there is something strangely compelling here. If the developers did one thing right, it was removing all of the fluff and instead focusing on just a few core mechanics. The lack of saving or continues forces you into the world of D and sucks you in. The first-person perspective does an admirable job making the castle feel real, while you feel helpless, and combined with the grainy visuals and crunchy sound, create an engaging experience unlike anything else I've ever played. There are disturbing moments with plenty of dead bodies scattered about, as well as supernatural occurrences. You never quite know what to expect each time you open a door or move into a new room. It is a breath of fresh air as it tosses out conventional storytelling. There is an opening act and a third act, but the second act is mostly missing, instead replaced by you wandering the castle with a voiceless protagonist. Yet, it somehow all works. D isn't different just to be different, it is different to show there are other ways to create video games. The limited controls and puzzle elements blend seamlessly with the visuals and haunting sounds to create a game worth playing to completion. The addition of hidden amulets with creepy cutscenes adds replay value, and I can't wait to dive right back into the world of D and give it another go. I'm not going to say this game is a masterpiece or anything like that, but D blazes its own path, and I absolutely love it. 3 out of 5.